everybody. Hope you all well. Hopefully you can see me and hear me. We'll get started in a couple of minutes. Could somebody just do me a quick favor, just to sanity check my mic and video working? Could you just post if you're listening in the Q&A chat for me? Just yes if you can in fact see and hear me, just so I can sanity check. Just go to session on the right side, Q&A, ask a question, and then just post a word yes. Andre can hear me. Perfect. All right. Got the technical issues out of the way, and we're all set to start in 2 minutes. Just going to add the two supporting judges now, just so they can do intros in a moment. As Edith and Jimmy. I hope that's worked. Hello, Edith. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Hi, Alfie. Good to meet you as well.
Likewise. And Jimmy, how are you, Jimmy?
Morning, everybody. Good, thank you.
Good stuff. All right, we'll just give it one minute, please, just for some stragglers to join if you haven't done so already. Just a reminder, if you are pitching today, we've got 9 or 10 people that are pitching. If you are, please can you request to share your video and audio? What that will do is it will put you into a queue below, and then I can add people or remove people when your time is up. So just to repeat, if you are in fact pitching today, please ask to share your video or audio, and then that way I can make sure that you're up on your time slot. I don't want anybody to have less time than they deserve. So if you could do that now, please, then I'll be able to add you when your time is up. Cool. All right. Well, let's kick off. I'm keen to do a quick introduction for a couple of minutes, and then we'll get on with the pitches. So, my name's Alfie Whattam. Lovely to meet you all. I'm the UK and Ireland national lead for software engineering at Hayes Technology Recruitment, and I also manage our data and cybersecurity recruitment teams in our London office. Pleasure to meet you all. I'm also joined today by 2 of our judges from Microsoft as part of our pre-seed challenge with the Super Connect for Good competition. Edith, do you want to do a quick intro, please?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Edith Sandrudi. I'm the UK program manager for Microsoft for Startups. One of our flagship programs is something called AI for Good, or AI for Social Impact. And I'm the one managing that program with the help of collaboration of Jimmy. So I will pass it over to him.
Yeah, morning, everybody. So I'm Jimmy Coxon. I'm UK Business Strategy Manager at Microsoft. So I work across the entire UK business we have here in the UK. And my roles, I look after things like our AI plan for the UK. I look after our sustainability plan for the UK. And I'm very lucky that as part of that, I get to work with Edith, and we run an accelerator once a year. So I get to do have lots of fun in the startup world. So pleased to meet you all. I'm really looking forward to the pitches today.
Perfect. Well, this was a particular category and challenge that I was really excited about personally. I do a lot of work with startup and scale-up type organizations, especially businesses that are in a pre-seed stage. And I've got something that I run on the side, just doing a little plug here, called the London Technology Podcast, where we interview startups and founders and CEOs and CTOs and heads of engineering and leaders of organizations within this space. Feel free to look me up on LinkedIn. If you click on my name, you'll be able to find episodes to watch. And through speaking to those types of organizations, I've managed to found over the past 18 months or so since we've been doing this podcast show, that the pre-seed market in terms of startups in the UK and Ireland and perhaps across all of Europe, really, to be honest, even despite COVID, has just absolutely accelerated in growth these past year or two. So, which is a really, really promising sign. You know, a lot of industries were hit really hard by the pandemic, but tech has gone from strength to strength to strength. And thank you again for the Microsoft team for supporting this as judges and also offering an opportunity really for startups and people in that pre-seed stage to get the PR exposure that comes from winning this competition, to get the prizes, the partnership with a FTSE 250 business like Hayes and one of the largest organizations in the world at Microsoft. So a really great opportunity for everybody that's pitching and auditioning for the contest. Just to give you a little bit of a running order and agenda. So we've got Almas from A Carrier, who will be up first for 5 minutes, and then a 2-minute Q&A. I'm going to be quite strict with the times, so please try and get your 5 minutes in, or I will have to cut you off, unfortunately. Then we're going to Doc Knock with Nur. Then we've got Andrea for Elliot for Water. We've got Sam for Conixo. We've got Gary at Nebis Systems. We've got Z at Picnic Bank. We've got Tara at Optimark. Optimark's going to be a pre-recorded pitch. It was a last-minute entry. We've got Dash at Tuba. We had an entry with James at UK Farmer, who, due to a scheduling conflict, is no longer with us today. But we've got Alvia at Zevalov, who will be finishing last. So we'll take that spot for the UK Farmer one just prior. So Avia, if you're listening, just need you ready at 1 minute past 12 instead of 8 minutes past 12. If that's okay, just a couple of minutes early, and then we should all be en route to finish at sort of 10:15 past 12. And then obviously the judges and myself will be collating feedback, ideas, who the best contestant was, who the runner-up was, and then as announced this morning on the live stage, the winner will be announced shortly. Main thing that I need from everybody watching, please, is just post questions in the chat, and hopefully we'll have some great ones from the audience, which the Microsoft judges can pick from. If we don't get much participation, Edith and Jimmy, I'm going to be relying on you a little bit to ask some questions. So please have some stuff prepped as the pitches go on. Lovely. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to add Almas to the stage for A Carrier and give you your 5 minutes to do your pitch. Adding you now. Hello, Almas.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
I can indeed. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I am just sharing my screen.
Perfect. All right, you've got until till 5 minutes basically, until 11:10, and then we'll do 2-minute Q&A. So over to you.
So hi, my name's Almas, and I am the CEO and founder of Akara Limited. Being passionate about women's health, I wanted to find a solution to stop acid attacks. The UK has the highest rate of acid attacks per capita in the world. Acid attacks are a global phenomenon and they are on the rise. So my first solution was a makeup foundation that is resistant to corrosive substances. If a person does survive an acid attack, their DNA is permanently damaged. So even though we recycle our skin cells every month, the skin grows as a scar. This makeup foundation is resistant to acids and alkalis, and it has a melting point of about 200 degrees Celsius. It's also waterproof and fireproof. As well as public interest, I've had a lot of interest from the Ministry of Defence and the Fire and Police Services, as well as private laboratories who want to protect their staff from chemical injuries. The UK market size for cosmetics, excuse me, is about 27 billion. Which is the 7th largest in the world, and globally it's about 511 billion. Market adoption, firstly, it's through awareness. My research went viral. I've had a lot of offers from documentary makers and filmmakers, and every week I get offers from different news outlets to do something for the news. We can also bring this makeup to the market via licensing agreements. Market adoption will be a lot easier through established brands and a lot cheaper, and also through government contracts. This makeup can be used as a personal protective equipment. Product roadmap is to complete a product information file. The makeup testing is complete, but the file is ancillary testing that we need to do. Once that's complete, we can have UK and Europe cosmetic approval. This file is used globally, and the market adoption is pretty much the same in every country. So once we complete this aspect of the testing, we can easily facilitate market adoption. And then we can either launch independently or through a licensing agreement. Our main competitors are the main stakeholders in the cosmetic industry. There's no product like this on the market, and it's a proprietary technology. However, instead of competitors, we can work with these companies as collaborators. Second problem, burnt skin doesn't heal very well. It leads to permanent disfiguration and scarring. And on average, a burn victim requires about 24 expensive operations in their lifetime. And most countries do not have a free healthcare system. So our second solution was a skin regeneration medication. This is a proprietary solution of stem cells, growth factors, and cell signalers. And it essentially just hacks the DNA and forces it to grow normally. So as you shed your skin every 30 days, instead of growing a scar, you grow a normal layer of skin. Because of the type of stem cells and cell signalers that we use, this technology can be incorporated into trying to heal damaged spinal cords. So the UK cosmetic surgery market just for the treatment of acid attacks in the UK is 2 billion, and that is set to rise 4% every year. Treating a person who has had an acid attack is lifelong, and they'll require NHS treatment throughout the rest of their lives. It's unreported how much that figure is globally. Market adoption is through clinical trials, CE mark, and Acaria Limited is the only small company to have been awarded a framework place for Public Health England. So we can use our position to try and place the product onto the market. Again, product roadmap would be clinical trials, CE mark, and clinical adoption. So our growth, so by the end of this year, we're set to make just under 200,000, and because of through Impact Ventures and news outlets, we've been approached by private family offices. So we're set to raise just under $1 million by the end of next year.
Lovely. Thank you, Almas. I'm sorry to cut you off there, but 5 minutes is up. Thank you for that. Clearly a really, really worthwhile product and service, and there's a lot of social good, obviously, which is the key message for today. Yeah. Jimmy, Edith, any questions from you two? I've certainly got one I'd be keen to ask, but anything from you two specifically?
Yeah, I've got one. I guess I mean, really great to hear. Thank you for that. I think it's a fascinating use case, which I would not have even thought was a possibility. So it's brilliant to hear. I'm just thinking about the different countries that you want to get into. So I understand you've talked us through the CE marking and things like that. What do you think are going to be any cultural or otherwise difficult barriers for adoption in different countries where this will be most needed?
So we've had a lot of interest from the public through our website and our social media platforms from the countries where acid attacks are at the highest rate, and regulatory approvals for cosmetics that are making claims are the same in those countries as they are in the UK. So what we need right now is just a product information file. We were set to complete that. However, the company that was completing the product information file and producing our samples went bankrupt during COVID-19. So we had to restart the whole process again with that. And so we lost all our money with because the company went bankrupt, and we didn't receive the file or the samples. But the process is exactly the same. You complete the initial testing to make sure that the makeup works, so the efficacy testing. Then you complete the product information file, which tells us, you test to see what is the shelf life, do bugs grow on this, is the packaging safe and compliant? So that is what the product information file is. So it is an efficacy testing that has already been done. And then it's basically a simple, so some countries have electronic platforms and some companies just have an email address where you submit all the information that you have, and then you just wait for approval.
Lovely. All right. Thank you, Almas. I'll go to yourself, Edith, for the next question on the next speaker, please. And yeah, thank you so much. If it's okay, Almas, could you just leave the chat so I can let the next speaker in? That'd be excellent.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
And Alfie, just operational question. Did anyone else see slides?
I did not know, so good point. Just maybe just sanity check. We'll do that for the next speaker. We have Noor up next from Doc Knock. Noor, can I? Yes, you've just asked to share. Lovely. I'll add you now. Perfect. Hello there. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for.
Lovely. Can I ask you to please share your screen if you use the third button? There we are. Perfect. That's working. Okay, 5 minutes, so over to you, mate.
Hi, hello. I'm Dr. Noor Al-Khatib, CEO and co-founder of DocNoc, a London-based company with a background in medicine and from Baghdad, bioinformatics and MBA in the UK. Now, 30 years on from watching patients travel many miles to my father's clinic in Baghdad for a second opinion, and yet we still hear in the news of late cancer diagnosis due to missed early detection or unnecessary treatment due to overdiagnosis. And more so, amongst ethnic minorities in the West and the MENA region where their roots come from, according to several studies, pre-COVID and post-COVID. But what has stuck with me since then is the amount of time that my father and the nurse had to spend with each patient to build a full picture, find the latest guidelines and the socioeconomic status of every patient so that they can prescribe a tailored clinical pathway and treatment dependent on where they live and what they do for a living. And the reasons for misdiagnosis are, in general, are down to three factors: workforce, workload, and underused innovation. So workforce in terms of clinical misjudgment due to increasing workload, constant changes of best clinical pathways, and third, lack of training and funding to support the use of oncology decision support system. With culturally sensitive communication channels and methods to encourage regular screening, adhere to medication, and enroll to clinical trials. We believe that misdiagnosis safety net can be facilitated with an ambient clinical decision support system. Starting with breast cancer, it's the largest diagnosed cancer amongst women. With ambient solution, we can bridge the gap from the MDT review that consists of radiologist, pathologist, oncologist, cancer nurse, and a surgeon, and then provide the contextual information for the patient and their family and their GP. So our solutions will be operated without the need of trained army of clinicians and change management cost, reduce errors, guide patients and their families in culturally sensitive communication channel, so that contextual treatment prescribed according to the latest guidelines and offered matched clinical trials. A business model that can operate from the healthcare regulators and recommendations and health insurance level so that it empowers clinicians, cancer specialists to adjust their decision if required, rather than challenging and bring more uncertainty and anxiety with second opinion, the traditional second opinion. Ultimately, we can scale this solution to improve health outcomes for breast cancer patients around the world. So our current model under experimentation is in the private sector serving international patients is the following. With every new cancer diagnosis, the physician chooses between the ODS available on DocNoc system with the assistance of an online nurse, can onboard the patient, sign the consent form, gather the necessary information, then we can produce the AI report that can be discussed with the consultant if there is a change from the primary or first consultation. The ambient built-in system captures the contextual information that can be shared with the patient and their family. So the more we feed this cycle, we build an algorithm, our AI care navigator or care AI nurse that can serve patients around the clock, around the globe. And to serve these customers, avoid the valley of death for startups, we decided to purchase off-the-shelf, white label, validated, CE marked, HIPAA compliant ambient solutions that serve the purpose of what we need to deploy. And then Roche ODS sits on top. So we are bringing a process innovation rather than a technology innovation. While we do that, we develop our IP and AI.
Lovely. All right, thank you, Noor. Sorry to cut you off there, but 5 minutes up. We'll go to Q&A if that's okay.
That's 50 minutes, 3:50 on my clock.
3:50. Apologies, it was 5 on mine. I can give you another 30 seconds if you like.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Our solution will compete with this on cost, ease of use, and unmet need of ethnic minorities. And we will be looking to partner with public and private sector. Our projections are going well. I'm really just thrown off the track. Thank you very much, Alfie. And then because we've been developing our concept and the solution from the Cancer Tech Accelerator that we've been just finished with the Cancer Research UK Roche Capital Enterprise that is backed this accelerator. And Dubai connections that we are talking to the regulators there. So the solution really it's not imaginative. It's real. And our team consists of myself, Dr. Ali Juma, who we met through our children in North London, and I work with him as SCI UK. Our advisors, board of advisors, and yeah, this is our ask for the next 12 months runway plus our seeking partnership. Thank you very much for your time.
Perfect. Thank you for that, mate. Appreciate it. Edith, have you got a question for Noah?
Yes, good. Thank you very much. It was a fascinating presentation. I guess my first question would be really just like, I've seen the timeline around the, oh, sorry, it's a bit of an echo, around raising for the next year and the ask, but what would be your first milestones when it comes to the actual kind of product or service that you would like to achieve?
So we want to validate the solution because the technology is there, the expertise is there. So we want to really start clinical trials, and because passing the ethical approval, as other colleagues I think mentioned in the medical sector, you need to pass through this hurdle.
Okay, lovely. Thank you so much, Noah. If I can please ask you to end your video, that would be really appreciated. And thank you again for that, mate. Next, we've got Andrea from Elliot for Water. I'm going to add you now, Andrea, to the stage. Andrea.
Yeah, hi. How are you?
Hello, Andrea. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly fine. Thank you, mate.
Good, thank you very much. You guys?
Yeah, all well, thank you. All well. If I can ask you
Let
to
me share the screen.
please, yes, you're way ahead of me, and you've got until just to be clear, you've got until 11:24 for the pitch, please.
Yes. Just 1 second.
Oh, good.
Okay. So my name is Andrea, and I'm the founder of Elliot for Water, which is a social enterprise that is created to give people access to safe drinking water. In the world, there are 500 million people, more than 500 million people who either lack access to safe water or they paid 10 to 15 times more than what they should. And this happens because of two reasons. The first one is that they don't have access to affordable options to pay water fairly. And the second is because the classic charity water system is not working very well. Because what they mostly do is ask for donation, build a well, and then go away. But philanthropy only covers 4% of what will actually be required to give water to every person in the world. And between 30 to 50% of the water project fail within the first 5 years because the water projects are not taken care of after they are realized. So how can we do something about it? How can we have an impact through water? We can do that by actually investing into corporate social enterprises, microfinance institutions that focus on giving people option to buy water and to pay it at a fair price. And by doing that, we can hit an underserved market of $12 billion. We can make water more interesting and attract more funds. And we can also empower people by actually turning them into customers. So we move the story from people in need that we need to help by donating to people that want and have the possibility to become customers if we treat them well. And this is where Elliot for Water comes into play. Elliot for Water was created to give people access to water, and we want to do that in 2 steps. The first one is through ElliotForWater.com, and the second, which will come in the next 30 months, is through the Elliot Investment Fund. ElliotForWater.com is a search engine just like Google. The difference is that it uses 60% of the profit to finance clean water projects around the world. So the way it works is very simple. You go on Elliot for Water, you make your search like London Live or what movie I'm going to watch tonight. And then when you click on one of the sponsor links on an ad, the search engine is automatically raising money. And part of this money goes to financing the clean water projects. While the Elliot Investment Fund will invest in those enterprises, finance organizations, and social enterprise that are already working to provide people with access to water, and they are making money. And the reason is that if we invest, these companies will be able to generate revenue, generate profit, and take care of the water project constantly to make them sustainable. In terms of market, we will focus in the Indian market because it's the second biggest internet market in the world. They already have 700 million users, but they also have in India huge water issues. So we believe that by going there, we can have a great impact local and we can gain a lot of users. While in Europe or US, we can focus on the millennials and on Generation Z because they are the 2 groups that have shown the most interest in the social impact. And as far as our current status goes, we are with the search engine, we are already online, we have first traction, and we are powered by Microsoft, by the Bing search engine. We developed our own browser extension so that people can download Elliot with just one click. And then we already established a few CSR activities with companies and school, got media coverage from TV and London Live to radios, newspaper, The Guardian, and so on. And the most important part is that we have already been able to donate more than 2 million liters of safe drinking water in a village in Guinea-Bissau. Our first goal will be to give water to 1 million people, and then we will move from there, 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, 100 million, and so on. And the reason why we decided to focus on water is because water is the single most impactful element that we have on Earth. Once we provide people with access to water, then we can change their life completely. Because women, for example, they don't have to work hours and hours a day anymore. They can work, they can take care of their kids, they can take care of their family, generate revenue. The same goes for kids. They don't have to go fetching water anymore, but they can go to school, they can have an education, or just play and be kids and be what they're supposed to be doing. So simply put, water means life, and it means future. And for us to be in this competition right now, it's a very big opportunity because it can give us more exposure. As a search engine, we have to attract as many users as possible to have as much impact as possible. And on top of that, we can find new partners that want to join us through the journey in helping people with access to safe water.
Lovely. Thank you, Andrea. Sorry to cut you off. Perfect timing. You got it nailed. Thank you for that, mate. And obviously a really, really important use case with what you're doing. Jimmy, Edith, have you got anything in particular you wanted to ask?
Yeah, how many users have you got accessing the platform at the moment?
We have a few thousand users per month right now. So we are just at the beginning, and we are trying to develop new functions, we improve the search experience. And now in the next month, we will start eating with the marketing as well. We have just started a collaboration with a marketing and CEO company in London that they are helping us go through the content and to gain more users from Google and other search engines as well, content writing, podcasts, and blog, and so on.
Okay, lovely. And what's the growth rate at the moment, if you don't mind me asking, in terms of months?
We haven't almost focused on the marketing and also we had to spend the last few months in rebuilding the website because it had some problems. So it's very low, and now we are steady over the few thousand per month.
Okay, lovely. Still early days. All right, thank you so much for that, Andre. And if you could please exit your video, that'd be appreciated. I've got Sam up next. Sam is from Conixto. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm sure he'll correct me if I am wrong. I'm just going to add you now, Sam.
Hi, guys.
Hello, Sam. And I'm just to remind you, mate, you've got till 11:32. So over to you to share your screen, please, and take it away.
Perfect. Can you see that? Can you see my screen?
Perfect.
Ooh. Lovely. Hi, my name is Sam, and I'm co-founder at University, the power behind a healthy student body. We help universities increase sports participation and improve student well-being through a centralized hub for university sports. There are currently 2.5 million students in the UK, but 2/3 of these don't take part in university sports clubs. However, out of these students, a massive 74% of them wish they did, showing us that there are barriers preventing students from joining sports societies. From our research, we have found that the current user experience for university sports is highly outdated and disjointed. Students are switching between university websites, email inboxes, printed information, and social media for different areas of university sports. This affects the communication between the students and the sports clubs, as well as making it difficult for students to find the basic information on the sports they want to join. In addition, unions are very keen to distance themselves from social media as they have no control over reputation management or moderation. So, what is the solution? University is a white label platform dedicated to students, sports clubs, and student unions. We act as a centralized hub facilitating the joining, taking part, and management of organized sports, ranging from club communication to purchasing memberships and events. University combines all elements of university sport through a user-friendly platform, leading to a more efficient process for all those involved. There'll be a back office for unions and universities to do analytics related to usage and demographics. This will give universities a better understanding of improvements which can be made across their sports clubs. But importantly, our mission is simple: to increase sports participation and student well-being throughout universities. Improving the mental health and well-being of students is at the core of our ethos. Through better sports engagement methods, more students will be able to reap the mental, physical, and social benefits of sport, which is proven to alleviate stress and have a positive impact on self-esteem. Increasing female sports engagement is a key area of focus for us, as well as targeting specific groups such as international students who participate in significantly less sporting activities. University is community-driven. By allowing peer-to-peer interactions through the app, students can build connections in a safe and secure environment, reducing the anxiety of turning up to a sports club alone. Accounts can only be certified with official university emails, which can be traced back to the student, reducing the risk of bullying and abuse. Our impact will be measured through sports participation levels at universities before and after implementing the University platform. University is also a machine learning and data analysis tool. Stats can be used to identify trends and align with a university's strategic goals, such as identifying the least and most engaged sports and demographics. Universities can use this data to ensure that every student is getting the opportunities that they deserve. University is currently part of Accelerate, the pioneering collaboration between the Life Science Hub, Wales, and the 14 university partners. Via Accelerate, we have secured Swansea University as our pilot uni, where workshops have begun to start development, targeting 16,000 students. We have received 4.5k in seed funding from the University of Sussex Summer Accelerator, alongside a fully funded intern. We're awarded the Santander Elevate grant, as well as receiving a cash prize for being the most investable business. Our market strategy is to launch our MVP at Swansea University to create and validate our market-ready product, ready to roll out across universities in the UK. Simultaneously, we seek to build partnerships with higher education institutions, sporting bodies, and charities such as Women in Sport, to ensure we are representing all groups. Our long-term vision for the platform is to expand internationally, starting with the lucrative US college market, to achieve our mission of growing sports participation across the world. But it is important to know that university isn't limited to education. It can be adopted by councils or large organizations to engage with workforces on a social level, giving us the potential to rapidly impact millions across the world. We want to be known as the company that revolutionized university sport, and winning the Super Connect Challenge will help take us to the next stage in creating a healthier student body. Knowing our impact-led ethos is valid and effective would mean the world to us as a company. Also, the increased respect and exposure within the health tech space will be so beneficial in helping to expand our network of like-minded companies, investors, and potential customers. And this, accompanied by the mentoring sessions offered by Microsoft for Startups, will help university achieve what we believe will make us the leading organization in the university sports market. Thank you so much for listening. I would like to take any questions.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate that. Jimmy and Edith, is it okay if I ask a question for this one? I've got something I'd be keen to find out. Lovely. Really good idea, Sam. One thing that, if I was playing devil's advocate, perhaps, what would you say if somebody said to you, this might seem smaller, perhaps, or a smaller market than perhaps some of the other things that we've heard about today in terms of the potential for social impact and kind of good for the world and the planet? What would your response be to that?
My response would be the benefits of sport and what it can actually bring to you as a person. And if you can engage more people across the world with sports, the benefits which they will reap are actually massive. So myself as a student and someone who wanted to play sports, I didn't get involved in it at the time, but then after I started getting involved with physical activity of some sort, and then I went on to play in a sports club, everything about my life really changed. I was better as a self-assured person, and having that impact on more people across the world will help people be able to to feel the benefits of sport.
Okay, lovely.
Who do you see as your competition?
So currently our competition is the likes of Facebook and Twitter, who what sports clubs use as their management software, basically. However, they do not have any specific society-based platforms. There's nothing which they can tailor towards the platform. It's basically just events pages and group pages. So they can't analyze data, they can't analyze how their societies are being run, and they can't analyze the groups that are involved in the society. So there's no way to see where they need to improve, and there's no way to see if they've got active members and active members. Basically, got clear. So societies have like hundreds of thousands of members of everyone that's joined throughout the years they've been running, and now you've got 100,000 people, but really only about 5,000-10,000 to actually take part. So there's there's a lot of analysis which comes with having a dedicated platform.
Okay, thank you for that.
Okay, wicked.
Cheers.
Thank you, Sam. Can I ask you to stop sharing, please?
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you. I'm going to let Gary in next from Neb Systems. I'm going to add you now, Gary. Gary, you've got until about 11:38, give or take. I'm going to pass it over to you, please, mate. Can you share your screen, please, if that's okay?
I certainly shall. If you just let me know if you can hear me and see the screen, because once I go full screen, I can't actually see you. Can you see that?
I can see it and hear you fine. Yeah, thank you.
That's lovely. Thank you. So my name's Gary Hawkins. I've been a frontline clinician in the NHS for the last 36 years. I'm a nurse in working with mental health learning disabilities. Over my career, I have been frustrated and my heart has been broken about seeing many of our patients, when they go to crisis or need hospital residential care, being moved often hundreds of miles away from their home and family. So therefore I set up NEBS, which stands for the National Network of Bed Surge. I'll start by telling a story. This is really based upon my real clinical experience and also some of my family experience as well, which if you ever want to pop into my booth, I can run through a little bit with you. So I have both
Gary, sorry to interrupt you, but the sound's really muffled. It sounds, I don't know.
Is it? I'm really sorry. I'm on my AirPods. I'm just going to unshare for a second and see if I can just reset that up. Is that okay? It's changed. It's gone back to. Is that any clearer?
That's much better. Thank you.
Much better. Much better. Thank
you.
you.
Booth, and it's also gone back to the internal speakers rather than my pod. So I'll share again. It's eating into my time, but that's life.
It's all good. We can give you an extra minute because we've had the dropout and it wasn't really your fault, more of a technical issue. So
thank you.
All good, Gary.
Thank you. Okay. We'll go back into this. So I basically want to really, and can you see the presentation again now?
No, you might have to reshare the screen if that's okay.
Oh, it says it there.
I can see it then. I can see it.
Okay, sorry. Oh, it's had a delay. I'll bring it back up again.
Perfect. We got it.
Lovely. Okay, so I really just want to tell you a story. It's really based on say, personal and professional experience. And this isn't a typical story with people with autism, mental health, and learning disabilities. So Joel was a lovely young man. I worked with him for many years, not his real name, obviously, and not his photo. But he was just a gorgeous young man. I worked with him in children's services. He was loved by everybody. He was autistic. He had the normal sensory and complex behavioural issues that comes with autism. However, when he was small, these were really manageable behaviours. He lived at home with his mum and dad. His dog was the centre of his world, and his mum was and dad was his absolute safety net. It's the only people he trusted in the world. Move on a few years, and Joel then turned 19, and his behaviours didn't particularly change, but the size and strength of his behaviours did. And COVID and lockdown came along as well and turned his life upside down. So all of his normal patterns of behaviour and things he could do just no longer existed. He ended up doing sections due to damage to property and threats to the house, even though it wasn't in the context of deliberate behaviour. It's really in the context of his autism. 6 years on, and he still remains in hospital. And in fact, he's ping-ponged around the country into many different hospital residential settings, often miles and miles away from home. Mum and dad are absolutely heartbroken. They've lost their child. He's lost his family. They can't visit on a regular basis. They drive. They have jobs. At one point, it was in Liverpool, which was a 5.5-hour drive, and it's just impossible for people to do when they actually have employment. So I started asking commissioners of how they actually found beds in this crisis. And it turned out there isn't a single platform in England that will allow commissioners to find specific beds with really granular detail of what that person requires in a hurry, and especially in a crisis. The last one took 2 very highly paid commissioners 3 weeks using Google to try and find someone, just ringing blindly round. The scale of the problem we have at the moment is that currently at any one time there are 2,600 people placed out of area in England alone. Out of these, 600 mental health. The average cost of that is £2,500 per week, and the average length of stay is 36.1 days. So that's about a month. That's still quite a long time to be away from home. 2,000 people with learning disabilities are in institutions a long way from home currently in the UK, and this is probably quite a low estimate. The average cost of those is £3,800 per week, and the most frightening figure that I found was that the average length of stay for someone with a learning disability in a hospital setting is 6 years, and that's average. And I worked with people in part of my clinical role who've been in hospital 15, 20 years without a really clear diagnosis and no discharge plan, and that's really, really heartbreaking. And this really does include the non-hospital placements of over local authorities and the NHS. So if imagine just, I'm not going to read all of this, but just read bits that you want. If you imagine one of your family was placed 100 miles away from home, you can't drive, you can maybe only go and see them maybe once a month, maybe 2 months, and then you see this hit the press about Walton Hall, Winterbourne View, people being showered naked in the garden with a hose in midwinter, being sat on, as you can see, that's from Winterbourne View, from an undercover operation. The fear for parents and the damage psychologically it causes to parents is huge, as is the damage psychologically to the patient, or to the person. I'm going to use person rather than patient, because this is the whole point of this program that we're building, is to humanize trying to find people a placement that suits their needs. So we're building at the moment a platform. We're moving towards MVP. The benefits for patients, it's close to family, close to home, close to friends, the right environment, reduced trauma and PTSD. I won't go through all of them. Benefits for staff, save time searching. I used to do this at the weekends in the crisis team, trying to find a bed, and it would take me at least 2 or 3 days full time just to find somewhere ringing around to find beds. I won't go through the whole list there. Benefits to providers, obviously less voids.
That's okay, Gary. I think you've got 30 more seconds. That's okay.
Okay, I'm going through. So the future is there. So there's a lot that we can actually add to that. We've got a really good team, including one of the national clinical advisors for NHS E&I on our board as a clinical advisor. And we have a build partner in AirLogic, and we have started to build the platform now. And as you can see, we're building that into sort of real granular detail. And that data isn't available in the NHS, so we'll be selling that data eventually back to the NHS, because they don't have that granular data about whether the person needs a front room, a back garden, all the really complex stuff to look after the most vulnerable people in society.
Okay, perfect. Sorry to cut you off, Gary. Thank you for that, and no worries about the technical issue earlier.
Yeah, apologies.
No, all good, mate. Just keen to keep on track because the room will close at 12:15, and I want to make sure everybody has their 5 minutes to speak. Jimmy or Edith, if you got one question, please. Either of you for Gary.
Anything from you, Edith?
Yes, I have a question. It's what you mentioned around data, Gary, that it's not available at the moment at the NHS. So what is the kind of the plan to actually create that, and how does it address privacy concerns?
Okay, well, the data that we'll be doing won't be GDPR, because it's not the patient data that we're dealing with. It's about the facility data that's out there on the market. So CQC go in and they register placements, but it's a fairly overall sort of view. But we will be able to get that granular data about exactly what's done, and also where patients are living. So we can also map each individual provision, and we can put that onto a heat map of the UK and show NHS England where there are really holes in provisions. For example, in Dorset, where I am, there isn't one NHS-funded bed for people with learning disabilities. So if someone becomes ill, there's no option but to send them out of area. And sometimes we're sending people to Liverpool and all over the place. And also, I think, and I don't want to overrun, Alfie, sorry, is that it's just not the out of area ones as well. Dorset is a 3.5-hour journey from coast to coast, from side to side. So we're able to actually look at that, and that you may as well place someone in Liverpool if you place someone on the other side of the county, if they don't drive, and it takes 3 buses in 5.5 hours.
August. All right, thank you, Gary. Sorry to cut you off. I've got Z up next. Is it okay if you stop sharing your video, please, Gary?
I will do indeed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, I've just added Z into the room. Hello, Z. How are you?
Very well, thanks. Lovely to
Lovely.
see you all.
Perfect. All right, I'm going to ask you to share your screen, please, and your 5 minutes begin now till about 11:48 or so.
Fantastic. Thank you. Hopefully it'll start working.
Perfect. All good.
Great. Is it gonna? Brilliant. So wonderful to meet you all. I'm the CEO of Picnic Bank, and we are a climate fintech and ethical bank, and we're looking to mostly go into developing countries, but also into countries like the UK and Netherlands. We will be a full retail bank, but we're also looking to help niches and look at some of the sustainability development goals that the UN has put out into the world. So we're working with some amazing people. I've been working on it for 2 years, and we've got 4 incredible teams. We're currently raising, which is very exciting. We've got an amazing team with background across banking, funds, and some, we've done some amazing accelerators. So we now feel that it's the right time to raise, and we've been self-funding up to now. What we noticed through the COVID and obviously before was obviously there's lots of people in debt. The investment marketplace is changing, with people like Tesco starting their first sustainability linked bonds, and then there's a lot of niche banks starting up like Copper. So seeing all this information and working in investment myself, I realized there was room for an ethical and green bank in the UK. So this is part of our product timeline, and all these are all our partners. So obviously later on, if you want to ask me about anything, I can explain more. So we dived in, and we were looking first at how we can speed up mortgages and car loans, and how we can look at different data points for people that might not necessarily be able to get a mortgage right now. And so we're working with Nexos, who already works with the government to create a broader lending spectrum. Some of the other things we're looking at is SME alliances. So we've partnered with another bank already, so that we'll be able to, as soon as we've got our funding, be able to start lending to SMEs, which is very exciting. We have done a lot of investigating around poverty, agriculture, and ecosystems, and that's in developed and developing countries. So we've got a full team in Africa and in Brazil. So there's a lot we can do. We've also been talking to some of the team that built M-Pesa, which is one of the most forward-thinking startups, fintechs in Africa, and it's really changed a lot of people's lives already. So we want to work with them and take that next level. So we see the future of banking is very much around retail. So we're working with the ex-directors of Argos, who already works with 150 brands worldwide, and we're creating an eco-concierge, which will nudge people into buying and traveling better for the environment. And we see this as another place where people can then get data which they might not necessarily have before, to help better lending. So the market size is huge, and fintech is one of the most invested in areas. I think a couple of years ago, it was the second largest invested in tech. So it's doing extremely well. So we are concentrating around fair credits and loans, ethical banking, revolutionizing mortgages, and embedded finance.
Cool. All right, thank you, Z. Sorry to cut you off there. Questions, Jimmy, Edith? Anything in particular? Or I've got one if you guys don't, but anything in particular you wanted to ask?
You talked. There's a lot you're planning to go after. What's your initial target market and go to market?
Sure. So we're launching in Brazil first. So our CEO of Brazil has already exited a fintech in Brazil at 300 million, and he already knows the marketplace extremely well. And we're launching in different countries with one feature, and then we'll work out from there. So our first feature, we're going to launch with mortgages. We're doing an M&A on a mortgage finding company that can find 3,000 mortgages a month. Then we're hoping to launch in the UK, then the Netherlands, and then Africa.
Thank you.
Okay, wicked. Thank you, Jimmy, and thank you, Z. We'll ask you to stop sharing, please, Z, and we'll be back to you shortly.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for that. Good presentation. I'm going to go to Tara now. Tara from Optumark, who was a very last-minute entry, so it's a pre-prepared video presentation as far as I've been told. So you might have to share your screen and click the recording. Hopefully it will all run smoothly. I'm just going to add you now, Tara. Hopefully that'll work. Just added you. If you might just click accept. Can anybody see Tara on the screen, or is it just me? No.
She's putting the message in to say not happening somehow.
Okay. Maybe leave and join back, and I can try one more time, Tara. As I mentioned at the start, we had one person unfortunately pull out last minute, so we do have a couple of minutes spare just in case of technical issues like this. Just leave and join. We'll just give you a moment. Just whilst that's happening, I don't know about you, Jimmy and Edith, but really good presentation so far from what I've seen. I mean, obviously it'll be quite a tough contest. I won't ask you for an exact name, but have you got anyone in mind at the moment that's your favourite?
Still working through. Yeah, I think
I'm with you, Jimmy.
She's still waiting for approval. So I think she's waiting for something your end by the looks of things to come in.
Okay, I don't see her in the moderation panel to approve at the moment.
Why don't we carry on and then come back to it?
Yes, that's a good point. Yeah, we'll get you on at the end, Tara. Hopefully it will work then if you can hear me. Otherwise, worst case scenario, we'll set up a private Zoom call and we'll make sure that you get your 5 minutes in. Don't worry about that. But we'll come back to the end and we'll try again. All right, I've got Dash from Tuba. Dash, I'm going to add you to the call now. Hopefully we'll have more success this time.
Hi.
I tell you what, we've literally just got Tara. I tell you what, Dash, if it's okay with you, I'll get you on the next one.
I'm so sorry.
No, don't worry at all. And Dash, just please request permission to join again so I can add you on the next session. Lovely to see you doing that. All right, Tara, please share your screen. Over to you, please.
Here we go. So, hi everybody. My name is Tara, and this is my partner.
Marcos, hello.
Hello, and we will today present to you Patient Fastlane. So, who are we and what are we going to do? Patient Fastlane, its main focus is to help and provide solutions for medical organizations, but also for the patients. I cannot stress this enough. We want to simplify the workflow and also use it by using digitalization of the workflow in the hospitals, doctor's office, and also for the patients itself. What was the main problem? Since I've been working at the hospital itself, I have my hands-on work done, and I've seen what are the main issues, the issues with the patients and also with the personnel, so with the medical personnel. We have seen that there is a market gap. Either there are apps or softwares that are used just for the medical staff or for the patients. But here we haven't seen anything that is connecting those two. For the financial side, we have also seen that doctors are draining their time and also their money by doing stuff like their paperwork and putting some data input into applications and systems, and there are a lot of them. And also our customers, 90% of the customers that are our patients have said they would love to prefer and prefer to have an optimal way of doing it in the future. So what is the solution? We want to close this gap, and our product should make the life of the consumer easier. And we want that this product helps on the market in the medical field, but also for the patients. Our target audience is the medical organization and also the patients, and it should be easy to use by a simple design. Our company. As you can see, our business model is based on research. So we have done also polls with the patients, and we want to see what are their main issues. But we have also worked together closely with doctors, and we have seen what their issues were. We are also thinking that people need more products that are specifically dedicated to this niche market. And thus, because of that, we want this design to be minimalist and easy to use. How does this work? So for the data flow, when a patient stores their data on their app, on their device, it can be their mobile phone, their tablet, or their PC. This app generates a QR code which contains the patient's information and can be scanned by the hospital staff. The hospital staff can then view the data in the desktop application, and then the data received through the scan can be imported into the hospital patient management system. For the apps, the patient can use it as mentioned on a mobile, and the hospital staff uses the scanner, which is on desktop, and the tablet, which is using our patient Fastlane software. So these patients have a convenient also a to-do list, which is telling them what are their next steps on the to-do list, what forms do they have to fill in, and what do they have to do next. So we have seen also there is some competition, but the good thing is that we don't have competition in our field that is combining those two worlds. We have competition that is either used by the medical field, so A and B products are inconvenient and expensive, and the C product, it is affordable, but it is not so convenient for the user itself. And this is why we try to be convenient and also affordable. Our growth strategy is that we try to introduce our product by February 2022. One hospital already agreed to do this work with us and to optimize their workflow. By July 2022, we want to release the product to the general public. This means to produce also the app for the end users, so the patients and other users to use it. And by October, we want to gather the first feedback and adjust the product design as necessary.
Thank you, Tara. Sorry to cut you off there, but just as a reminder that the presentations will be available if anybody wants to kind of view them afterwards and that sort of thing as well. So everybody will be able to ensure it's all read on the judge's side. Jimmy, Edith, any questions from you two in particular about this this presentation?
Just quick one for me on the data. You've talked about the patients entering data and the hospital entering data. Who owns the data?
Who enters the data? That's the perfect question. Patients have the perfect thing that they can enter data from a cafe or from at home because they get those blocks.
Who owns the data?
Who owns the data? It's your data. Like you want to go to a practice office and then you have to fill in your data, your name, your surname, by data. So when a doctor offers you this form in advance, you don't have to fill it out at their practice, at the hospital. This is what you gain also by time, because you can sit in the at home and do it in a less stressed way, because we have witnessed that there are many patients, especially the elderly one, who are so stressed that they don't even know what their name is.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. Lovely. All right. Thank you so much, Tara. Really appreciate that. If you could stop sharing your screen, that would be appreciated. I'm going to let Dash back onto the call for the next presentation.
Hello. Hi.
Hello, Dash. Hello. All right. 5 minutes starts now, and share your screen if that's okay.
Yep, absolutely. Here we go. All right. Awesome. Great. All right. So what if you could do? What if we could do more with less data? Tuber's on a mission to solve time-based small data problems by building better, faster, and more frequent predictions with less data. So we've built a time series machine learning algorithm that can process a fraction of the data required to make an accurate prediction in near real time. And we've seen success applying our technology to public transport to make crowding predictions at 1-minute intervals. And then we're providing this information to Londoners via an app in order to assist them in avoiding the busy periods and improve rider experience on the London Underground. So 99.5% of data collected today isn't analyzed. This is for a number of reasons, but quite often it's either because the data inputs collected are quite sparse or the data is quite large and complex. So it can take 2 to 4 years for a device to collect enough data to use big data predictive technologies. And this has a massive impact on realizing the benefits of the data being collected. And it's only when the data is actually applied does it actually impact real lives. So our technology allows our clients to derive more, some things aren't loading, here we go. Our technology allows our clients to derive more value from their data faster, use predictive technologies sooner, and remove raw complexities in the data pipeline for big data processing. This impact means that the small data problems like managing crowding on public transport or understanding how bikes are moving around the city, building bigger capacities in health clinics, et cetera, will transform how we use, plan, and then frequent common spaces. Our technology is quite unique as it predicts not only the sparser data sets, but also in environments which can be defined as sporadic. So we mean like data flow and the events that impact them are not always consistent. Therefore, we're on a mission to put our technology into the hands of as many companies, data scientists, and those on a mission to improve daily lives with data as much as possible. Our real-time pipelines launched at the end of May 2020, and we've seen our pipeline for potential clients grow to 12 in just 3 short months. We're in the early stages of going through a proof of concept with a healthcare clinic management company. And we're achieving approximately 80% accuracy in our time-based predictions. We're currently raising our first official round, and we have approximately 200K committed out of our goal of 500K. And so there are really a lot of big players in the market, as I'm sure you all are aware. So Google, AWS, Azure have all made advances in time series analysis, but the fact remains that these predictions are still only possible with a massive amount of data, and that's where we're different. So we believe our technology should be accessible to all abilities. So our delivery defines a phased approach to taking us from a machine learning as a service to a licensed technology company to a no-code time series sparse data solution within 4 years. Our machine learning will transform the way we define spaces and enable collection methods like sensors, devices, 5G, GPS that are so critical in like smart city success to start predicting and transforming lives today and not in 2 to 4 years' time. And this will also allow the public to appreciate how data can make their everyday lives run like clockwork. So we're ready to make those small data problems today the memes of tomorrow. And sorry, some things aren't loading, but our growth strategy has always considered the biggest players in the market, like Microsoft, as a way to put our technology into the hands of people faster and with ease. Our opportunity to be considered within the Microsoft's first startup program would enable us to fast track the partnerships required to grow faster and then also reduce our sales cycle in the first 2 years. The other prizes that are available as well would also allow us to apply our resources where they really need to move the needle, so like in R&D and growth. And then just a little bit about our team. So I'm Dash Tabor. I lead the team in the Masters in City Planning and Sustainable Development. I have a decade of experience building data propositions as a data product manager. Nikhil Kanta is our CTO. He's also the mastermind behind the technology. He has a master's in physics and a deep understanding of time series machine learning. And then Kelly Pollard is our Chief Customer Officer. She has a master's in design, and she's actually worked across a number of sectors, including designing smart spaces for the NHS health system. So
thank you for that, Dash. That's appreciated. We'll have a look at the advisors and mentors and consultants and stuff on the pitch deck when we get that through. But that was wicked. Thank you for that. I do appreciate it. Any questions from Edith, from Jimmy?
Just a quick clarification from me. So your USP is that you can gather accurate insights from edge data sets quicker than anybody else.
We can take a fraction of time series data. So that first 20%, data flows in over time, even if it's constantly flowing. We can take that first fraction of data up to 20% and make predictions off it in near real time.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. Quick question from me. Where, if we look 12 months from now, where would you see, and you touched upon this in the presentation, but just in a little bit more detail, where would the overall products be in 12 months from now?
Yeah, I see the product. So right now we're really working on a machine learning as a service as we get the IP protection together in order to license the tech. In 12 months time, I'd like us to have already kind of started on that POC of no code so that we can start really seeing the growth from there. So the first POC of being able to put this in the hands and people being able to put the parameters in and replicate faster.
Okay, lovely. And just one more question from the Q&A chat. Dr. Almas Ahmed asks a quick question for Dash. How accurate are the predictions that you'll be making?
Yeah, so right now we're seeing between 80 and 85% prediction for an hour to 3 hour period. So obviously the closer you get to time, the more accurate your predictions get. But we can predict out into a week in advance.
Okay. Perfect. Lovely. All right. Thank you so much for your time. You could stop sharing your screen. That would be appreciated. I'm going to let Aviva onto the call now. Last but definitely not least, I'm going to give it a moment for that connection to work. Perfect.
Hello.
Hi, Aviva.
Hello. How are you?
We're good. How are you?
Excellent. Yeah, excellent. Okay, let's find my window, my tab for my presentation.
If you just click the share screen button as well.
Okay, I am sharing screen. Let's see. Can you see my screen? You can't see my screen. I see nose. Is my technology too advanced? Have I gone too far in the future? Hold on. Okay, hold on a second. Sharing. It says I'm sharing.
Okay, that's fine.
And
like
I know you can't see anything.
We'll get a copy of it later, so perhaps just read through what you've got in front of you. And oh, we've got it now. We've got it.
Well, I'm trying. You got it?
We have it indeed. Well, I can see myself, but maybe to switch to the tab that you've got open, perhaps for the presentation.
Okay, I'm switching. How about that? Can you see that? No.
Wait 1 minute. Let's wait 10 seconds.
Let's see what's going on. Is that working?
I can see us. I cannot see the presentation. Have you got it as a PDF that you could just open? I can see that you've got the hop-in tab open.
Yeah, I've got everything open. You can imagine. Okay. Well, I don't have this as I don't have it as that. But what I can do is I can just present.
Yep, that would be lovely if you could.
I think I will let people use their imaginations and let them conjure up images in their minds. Okay, let me just do this then.
Okay. Oh, good. All right, so you've got till 12:11, and then I'll have to cut you off. But go for gold.
I'm going for gold, believe me. Hello, everyone. My name is Aviva Onop. I had my name way before Norwich Union decided to change their name to Aviva. Our company is Evolve. And we are building portable drop-box electric vehicle chargers, which can be dropped anywhere. It does not have to be on the grid. It uses renewable energy, like we said. And the great thing about this as well is that we're integrating AI, which is going to be talking to satellites, because our eye is going to be able to talk to the battery management systems of cars. And from there, we will be gathering data, which is very useful in us being able to understand not only about traffic management, but also about, because these are drop boxes, they can be moved to other locations, which also means, unlike something that just happened to us recently, I'm actually sitting in France for a meeting actually about our drop boxes. And we actually rent an electric vehicle, and we went to, in a place called Moissy, we tried to go and charge our car. According to the app, there was supposed to be a charger there, but there was no charging station. It was closed. Our drop boxes, because of course they are going to be mapped out because of the AI solution, if they do happen to shut down or move, people will be also alerted about those new locations. Because the thing about having an electric vehicle and then obviously not having the ability to charge is that you actually get something called range anxiety, or just anxiety in general, because it's very stressful when you can't charge your electric vehicle. And it doesn't matter what kind of vehicle it is. Even I've just been to witness a new flying car that's being developed in Finland that also will require battery charging. And I actually thought how we can be instrumental in that as well. So let me just go a little further and tell you a little bit about our charging, our Dropbox solution. It doesn't actually, what this means is now there's no extra infrastructure costs for local authorities or government officials who obviously have to spend trillions of dollars every year in actually creating grids and roads that will actually allow people to charge their cars in places which need charging. And that means that people, of course, no longer have to worry again. It doesn't matter if they're taking the I-75 from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, or they're going on the A480 down from all the way from Anglesey to Cardiff. It means, or 470 actually, it means that no matter where you are, these drop boxes can be dropped off and people can actually not only charge their car, but they'll also be able to get Wi-Fi because of the solutions that we're going to be putting into them. Of course, the battery management solution that's within each one of these chargers is very complex, and our team are extremely smart. We are full of nerds. We are definitely full of, we're just chock full of AI nerds, including professors and lots of master's degree students who are very up on this and have already been involved in building AI systems, as well as also other systems which are used to design electrical vehicle chargers. We actually have a very coveted LOI, a beautiful partnership with the largest manufacturer of EV consumables in the world. Phoenix Contact has actually given us an LOI so that we can actually use them. They said that they'll supply us as much of their EV consumables as we need to build out our prototypes. Of course, these prototypes are going to cost a bomb, and this is actually what we're going out there right now and finding funding for. We also have a number. We have quite a few letters from which we're happy to supply to you from local authorities who really want to work with us and actually implement our system. One of them being from Coventry, who of course is they are going to be hosting the Commonwealth Games, and they really want to see if we can get this implemented by the time those games actually start, because they have they already made some numbers that actually show that there's going to be a large influx of electric vehicles who are going to be coming into the Coventry area, as well as Solihull. Solihull are very interested in working with us and getting our solution up and running. So of course, with those kinds of partnerships, I mean, they don't take these kinds of partnerships lightly, especially with somebody like Phoenix Contact, and they have really thrown their weight behind helping us make this solution come to fruition. According to Morgan Stanley, by 2023, over 500 million electric chargers have to be up and running worldwide. And I really think that our solution will help with that large part of the Earth who actually needs to have a solution like this, which is off-grid and running. And of course,
sorry to cut you off. You're done, okay, unfortunately. Well, the room closes in 4 minutes, but thank you for that. Keen to give you a chance to do questions. Anything from Jimmy, Edith, question-wise? Is it okay if I just ask a quick one to begin with? It sounds amazing. It also sounds very expensive from an investment perspective, right? Do you know how much you would be looking to raise from a pre-seed perspective?
Yes, we're looking to raise $250,000. We're also looking to make these drop boxes very affordable, because you see, I'm ex-local government, and I actually used to be the head of infrastructure, as well as also tourism in my area. And so what I'm trying to do is come up with affordable solutions for government as well, because I really don't want governments to have to spend a lot of money on a solution, which is going to be very instrumental in the future. And especially with so much roadworks and everything going on in the UK, and because obviously these charges will have to be in place as then moved again, you can only imagine how much it's going to end up costing every government in the world. A solution like this is very instrumental, not just for the infrastructure, but also for things like large events like Glastonbury or Burning Man. You know, you're going to have large chargers put out in the middle of nowhere, but yet not enough, you know, they're not there permanently to disturb the environment.
Okay, it's a good use case. I didn't think about that with festivals. Okay, Edith, Jimmy, anything to add question-wise?
Over to you, Edith. I'll let you take this one.
I love Edith's earrings. I mean, I really do. I think I want to implement that into our design, our logo. We're actually doing logo designs today. I'm like, we need something really striking.
You're on mute, Edith.
All I can see is earrings. That's I see those. I'm going to get a pen in a minute and draw.
Absolutely, I'm very happy to learn that. What I kind of wanted to ask, just a very quick summary of like the milestones that you are envisioning.
Well, our first milestone, the most important one, is really getting these prototypes made. The battery management system is the one that's called, I mean, our guys, I love watching them sweat and beautifully sweat, because they're coming up with things that are making them excited, and they're real brainiacs. I mean, our guys, they're all PhDs and master's degree students in this stuff, and they're coming up with some really gorgeous solutions, which not only will allow for that energy to be stored within the units themselves, because of course we have to store quite a bit of energy. That energy has to be created and stored, but then of course it also has to be lightweight enough for us to be able to transport these huge boxes, which, by the way, we're getting that weight limit right down, because these are also important. So as they're designing away and I'm watching this happen, I am actually getting quite excited about the prospects. And we've actually, I don't know if you know this, but Coventry actually has a head of EV infrastructure. And she is also very excited about what we're doing here. She thinks what we're doing is really groundbreaking and also Colin Bordley from Solihull. They're very. I've never seen two more enthusiastic people from a government who are really excited about what we're developing. They really want to see this work, because they really see this as a future, especially if we can get this price point really, really, really low, because we know what's going to have to happen in order for this to be a real solution.
I'm getting messages from the organizers to finish up. So thank you, Aviva. If you could.
Thank you, everyone. We really appreciate this opportunity.
Lovely. Well, thank you to everybody for pitching today. We've tried our best to give equal time to everybody. I appreciate that some people might have got an extra 30 seconds, we might have got a little bit less and that sort of thing. But what I would say is we're all going to, as judges, take the time to go away, look over the presentations and make sure that everybody has got proper consideration and a review of everything and a proper discussion before any decisions are made and that sort of thing. Any closing comments, Edith, Jimmy? Have you got any favourites in mind? Anything you want to add before we finish up? Just
a big thank you from me for everybody. Sorry, Edith.
That's right. Go for it.
You go.
Well, yes, I wanted to say thank you for everyone's time, everyone's enthusiasm and presentation. We were delighted. I'm sure I can speak on Jimmy's behalf. We were delighted to be here. I also wanted to ask if the presenters are still on the expo part, because if yes, I might come over and ask a couple of other questions. We didn't have time just here or in the chat options. But thank you again. I promise we will do our very best to be fair and kind when we will be making our decision. And I look forward to hearing from all of you.
What Edith said, thank you everybody. It was great to hear the pictures. Really good.
What Edith and Jimmy said, I think we're all on the same page here. So thank you all again. Some really good prizes, PR, exposure, lots of amazing things available for the winners. So fingers crossed. Best of luck to everybody. I highly would recommend joining the networking session. Would recommend watching the other categories as well, even if you're not in them. It's good to get ideas from other startups in terms of how they present and what they're doing, and really an opportunity to form some lifelong partnerships where you can help each other out from a business perspective as well. So thank you all, and see you all shortly. Bye for now.
Everybody.
Thank you. Bye.